I want to start with a very simple truth, something that's fundamentally changed how we think about security. Cybersecurity used to be about building walls. Now it's about securing trust. Think about that for a moment. For decades, we operated under the assumption that if you could just build the wall high enough, make the moat wide enough, we'd be safe. But here's what we've actually learned along the way. In today's world, there are no more walls. SaaS has shattered the wall. And we can no longer contain everything within a specific designated set of functions like a firewall would typically do. Your employees are logging in from coffee shops in Prague. They're coming in from their home offices in Portland, from airport lounges, or from airplanes themselves. Your data is living in different clouds, 3, maybe 4. Your vendors need access to systems that you maybe didn't even know existed 5 years ago. So we're going to talk about how Zero Trust addresses that and how we secure trust in a new world where the old perimeter no longer exists. So let me paint a picture for you. This is what we're dealing with. We've got hybrid work as the new normal, and COVID accelerated that. This is not an exception. This is the normal. We've got shadow IT sprouting up faster than IT can track it, as well as shadow AI. Someone in marketing is spinning up a new SaaS tool tomorrow. And by Friday, there will be new data on it. We have vendors logging in from different locations, and we can't even pronounce some of these locations that they're coming from, and they're using devices we've never seen. And here's the kicker. The threat actors are evolving with this. They're not trying to break down the front door anymore. Why would they? They're just logging in. Hackers don't hack in, they log in. And SaaS and cloud is making it so much easier for them to do that. They're using legitimate credentials. They're moving through legitimate pathways. And by the time we notice, they've been wandering around our most sensitive systems for months. The traditional model that we assume once you're inside the network, you're trustworthy, that model is so outdated. One click of a phishing email and they're inside your network. It's dangerous because all it takes is one stolen password, one compromised device, one social engineering attack, and suddenly an attacker has the same level of access as your most trusted employee. And every phishing test you do, we aim for like a 1% click rate. Well, 1% of 100 people, that's one person. 1% of 1,000 people, that's 10 people. But every news line you see, it never says 10 people clicked. It says one person clicked. Every time we do phishing tests, at least one person's going to click. So you should assume someone is always inside your network. And that's where Zero Trust comes in. But I need to be really clear about something. And I know we're on something that's sponsored by Netscope, but Zero Trust is not a product. It's not a checkbox that you can tick. And despite what some vendors may tell you, is definitely not just the latest cybersecurity buzzword. Now, there are tools that will help contribute to Zero Trust frameworks, Netscope being one of them. But it's more of a fundamental shift in how we think about security. It's built on one very simple but powerful principle. Never trust, but always verify. Or you can flip it around. I like to say, verify, then trust. At the end of the day, we have to trust the devices to give them access at some point in time. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, if you're new to this concept, that's completely a paranoid way of looking at the world, and that sounds like it would slow everything down. But here's the thing, Zero Trust is really not about being paranoid. In fact, done efficiently, it actually speeds things up. It's about being precise. It's about trusting, but with intention, and not making any assumptions. So let's talk about a few things to clear up some misconceptions that I hear all the time. And I've been talking about Zero Trust for going on about 7 years now. I've sat on panels with Dr. Zero Trust himself, who is the foremost expert on Zero Trust, and I've built and implemented Zero Trust in a lot of organizations and consulted. And so this is a little bit of my experience. First, Zero Trust is not just about multi-factor authentication. MFA is important. It's critical, actually, but it's just one piece of a much, much larger puzzle. Second, this isn't just for Google or Microsoft or other tech giants, or even Fortune 500 companies. I've seen small manufacturing companies, regional banks, even school districts implement Zero Trust principles successfully. You don't need a big budget to do Zero Trust. And third, and this is important, Zero Trust does not mean don't trust anybody. This is not some paranoid, lock everything down approach. It actually means we trust with precision. We verify continuously, and we adapt based on the risk. Everybody's implementation of zero trust is going to look different based off of the risk that your organization is facing. It's actually more flexible than other traditional security models, not less flexible, contrary to opinion. So, what does this look like in practice? Let me break down the core components without getting lost in all the acronyms that people get familiar with.